It was 7 years ago that our very first Electron rocket was ready on the pad at Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1, waiting to make its debut launch to space. And standing in its place now is our 50th Electron rocket, ready to make its way to low Earth orbit in just 40 minutes or so. Hello, I'm Muriel Baker, and today I am joining you live from inside our Mission Control Center as we celebrate our 50th liftoff with the very people who design, build, test, and launch our Electron rocket. Bonjour aussi, bienvenue to our launch customer today, Kinéis, an Internet of Things company from France. Today's mission is called No Time to Lose, in a nod to the name of their home city. And liftoff this morning is set for just after 6 a.m., 6:13 local time and 6:13 UTC. This mission is a special one for our team as it's our 50th Electron launch since our very first mission in May 2017. Now, Electron has been a record-breaking rocket since its debut by being the world's first carbon composite orbital rocket, as well as the first rocket powered by 3D printed engines and electric pumps instead of traditional gas turbines. And with this 50th liftoff, we are set to break another record because Electron has reached 50 launches faster than any other commercially developed rocket in history. A huge achievement for our team that is testament to their dedication and tenaciousness in making dedicated, responsive access to orbit a reality for small satellites. And here to tell us more about the milestones along the way to 50 launches are my colleagues Prachi and Jamie.
Thanks, Muriel, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Prachi Saknani.
And I'm Jamie Gilbert. It's great to be here on this really exciting morning for Electron and the whole Rocket Lab team.
Some days it feels like we've blinked and now we're at 50 launches, but the reality is we've packed a whole lot of complex missions, engineering evolution, and exciting achievements into these 7 years since Electron first took to the skies.
That's right, and we could tell you more, but we're going to go one better and show you instead. It has been quite a ride for the past 49 Electron launches, and we're excited to continue that today with number 50.
Now, before we get into the details for today's payload, it is time to check in with our operators on console and mission control for one of the final pre-launch polls. This is where our launch director will poll each of the operators to understand the status of their critical systems, including weather, avionics, guidance, range clearance, and more. If the operators confirm that their systems are green, tracking green, this means they're in good shape for a liftoff and everything is operating as planned. Let's listen in for those calls.
All stations LD on mission, proceeding with the status poll for launch sequence. Standby for poll for current and expected status for launch. Report green or red, tracking green or red for launch. Stage.
Stage is green, tracking green.
Avionics.
Avionics is green, tracking green.
GNC.
GNC is green, tracking green.
VCON.
VCON is green, tracking green.
T1.
T1 is green, tracking green.
GC.
GC is green, tracking green.
PLS.
PLS is green, tracking green.
RSO.
RSO is green, tracking green.
MET.
MET is green, tracking green.
MM.
MM is green, tracking green.
All right, thank you all. And MET, LD on mission.
MET.
Can you please provide a weather brief for T0?
Okay, so that shower we've been monitoring on the radar continues to move towards LC1, but it is weakening and the leading edge is dissipating. So we're looking at even later, more like 6:30 before it starts to affect LC1. POV remains 30%.
Copy, thank you, MET. And T1 LD mission.
That's greens all across the board there, confirmed by launch director Michael Pearson. Today's launch is a special one for all of us, but especially for Michael, as it's his 50th launch on console. While we have a bunch of folks who have been on board with us since Flight 1, Michael is the only operator to have been on console for every single launch.
The launch director role is absolutely critical on launch day because the person in that seat needs to ensure that all teams remain on track for an on-time liftoff. They are constantly checking in with operators to confirm their critical tasks have been completed and then making decisions based on inputs from the team and a bunch of sensors too. And if any issues do crop up, they're charged with leading troubleshooting efforts and working them through to resolution before liftoff. So it's a big task, but Michael makes it look easy. But enough about the team on Earth. What are we sending to space today? Well, inside Electron's fairing, patiently awaiting their ride to orbit, are 5 satellites for French company Kinéis, who specialize in Internet of Things technology, or IoT. It's the first of 5 dedicated Electron launches booked by Kinéis to deploy their complete constellation of 25 satellites. What this constellation aims to do is connect IoT-enabled devices anywhere in the world and enable them to transmit data to users in near real time. Each of the satellites is what we call a 16U platform, so a bit bigger than a toaster, plus a cool antenna too, which weighs around 30 kilograms. And this means the total payload mass for today's Electron launch is around 150 kilograms, or about 308 pounds. So let's hear more from the team at Kinéis.
sequence. The primary abort switch and watchdog are configured and ready. LD sup, LD mission.
LD sup.
Please confirm the secondary abort switch and watchdog are configured and ready.
Can confirm.
Avionics, LD mission.
LD avionics.
Confirm stage 2 umbilical POF is nominal.
Confirmed.
And confirm HVB balancing is disabled.
Confirmed.
ComOps, LD mission.
LD ComOps.
Please confirm video streams are in sync.
Can confirm video streams are currently in sync.
A check-in with the countdown clock, and we are just over 17 minutes to lift off for today's mission. And as we prepare to watch Electron take to the skies for the 50th time, let's take a closer look at our record-breaking rocket.
A small launcher dedicated for small satellites, Electron was the first of its kind to reach orbit when it first took to the skies in 2017, opening up access to space for small satellite operators. Today, it is the second most frequently launched U.S. rocket annually. More than 180 satellites have found their home in space across 49 Electron missions, launched from Rocket Lab's Launch Complex 1 in Mahia and Launch Complex 2 in Virginia, USA. Designed, manufactured, and launched by Rocket Lab, Electron is a two-stage to-orbit launch vehicle powered by liquid oxygen and rocket-grade kerosene. It's the world's first carbon composite orbital launch vehicle, making it strong but still lightweight, and also gives Electron its sleek black look. The rocket is powered by 10 Rutherford engines, 9 at the bottom of the first stage and a 10th space-optimized engine to power the second stage to orbit. The Rutherford engine is the world's first to use an electric pump feed cycle for orbital space travel, making use of the electric motors and batteries to drive its propellant pumps. It's also 3D printed using additive manufacturing processes, another industry first. Electron is also equipped with a third upper stage, known as the kick stage, that serves as the last mile delivery to deploy multiple payloads to precise and individual orbits, even when flying on the same mission. It's to this kick stage that the 5 Kinéis satellites are attached, ready for deployment.
All stations LD on mission, proceeding with the go, no-go sequence. Stage.
Stage is go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Vcon.
Vcon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
T1.
LD T1.
Confirming go or no go for launch.
T1 is go.
MM.
MM is go.
LD sup.
LD sup is go.
Okay, all stations, the go, no go sequence is complete. We are T-minus 11 minutes and 3 seconds and counting. We are go for terminal count auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word hold procedure is in effect.
Just the way we like it, greens all around, and we are go for launch. What you heard there was Launch Director Michael Pearson making the call out that we are proceeding with the planned liftoff at 6:13 a.m. local time, now just less than 10 minutes away.
La imagen muestra un cohete de Rocket Lab en su plataforma de lanzamiento. Aquí está la información detallada presentada en la imagen. Cohete. Altura, 18 metros 59 pies. Diámetro, 1.2 m, 3, 9 ft. Etapas, 2 más etapa de propulsión adicional, kick stage. Material. Compuesto de carbono. Reusabilidad. Etapa 1 completa. Masa en seco, 13,800 kilogramos, 30,420 lb. Carga útil aleo, 300 kilogramos, 661 lb. Estructura. Compuesto de carbono. Propelente. LOX, oxígeno líquido, y queroseno. Motores y propulsión. Propulsión en la primera etapa. 9 motores Rutherford a nivel del mar. Empuje en despegue, 19,890 n, 4,470 lbf. Empuje máximo, 22,000 n, 4,950 lbf. ISP, impulso específico 311 segundos. Recuperación. Paracaídas de drogue, paracaídas principal, sistema de control de reacción y mejor sellado. Propulsión en la segunda etapa. Un motor Rutherford al vacío. Empuje total, 5,890 N 1,320 lbf. ISP, 343 segundos. Propulsión en la etapa adicional, Kick Stage Motor Curie. Características, despliegue de cargas útiles, despliegue a mayor altitud, soporte de carga útil alojada, múltiples cambios de trayectoria, órbitas de baja altitud sostenidas. Misión. Nombre de la misión, Kinéis. Nombre del lanzamiento, No Time to Lose. Estos detalles técnicos proporcionan una visión completa del cohete, sus capacidades y su misión específica.
Hey Prachi, we are at 4 minutes 36 seconds remaining in the countdown to liftoff or no time to lose. And operations are progressing smoothly as we inch closer to engine ignition for today's launch. Now at T-minus 2 minutes, Electron's flight computer will take over the countdown and autonomously run through the final operations. Good oxygen will continue to flow Electron all until T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. We hear a call from mission control when that happens, indicating that the lock system is in recirculation. Then after that, we'll hear confirmation that Electron's first and second stages are fully pressurized and ready for launch. Is to listen out for the final 10-second countdown from the launch director. We're going to hand it over now to mission control to listen into that final pre-launch sequence.
All stations LD on mission. From now, there should be no red flags in your critical LCCs. Beacon, LD mission.
LD Beacon.
Lock auto sequence and confirm.
Auto sequence is locked.
Confirm all expected flight computer as goes are green.
That's confirmed.
Okay, all stations, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
Vehicle is fully on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
Lock slot is complete. System is in recirculation. Anti-geyser is disabled.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine, port your name.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Stage 1 propulsion
We are
nominal.
on our way to space. Our 50th Electron rocket has taken flight and is headed to orbit carrying 5 satellites for Kinéis. Now up next you'll hear the call out for max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure, which is the point in flight when Electron experiences peak structural loads. The GNC operator on console will give us the call that max Q is approaching, and then we'll listen out for confirmation of that.
Max Q. Cleared max Q.
Excellent to have that confirmation that we have passed through max Q. We are now at over 2,000 kilometers an hour in speed and just past 17 kilometers in altitude on our way to orbit for Kinéis. Now next up, there are 3 key events for the mission: main engine cutoff, or MECO, stage separation, and then stage 2 engine ignition. MECO is when all 9 Rutherford engines shut down simultaneously on the first stage to prepare for the next phase in flight. Then after those engines are off, Electron's first and second stages will separate. Stage 1 will return back to Earth, while stage 2 heads in the opposite direction and onward to orbit. Then the vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage will light up to propel the stage for the second phase of flight. Now those 3 events all take place in quick succession over just a few seconds, so let's listen in for the calls.
15 seconds to staging.
Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
3 successes and 3 milestones down. That was MECO, stage separation, and second stage engine ignition. We are now more than 2 minutes into flight and on the way to orbit for Kinéis. And up next will be fairing jettison, when Electron's fairing splits in 2 and falls away.
Stage 2 guidance is nominal.
Fairing jettison confirmed.
And that there was the call out for fairing jettison, in which you also saw on your screen, exposing the payload of Kinéis' 5 satellites to space ahead of their deployment. Electron is traveling at over 8,000 kilometers an hour and at an altitude past 126 kilometers. Just a couple more minutes remaining in this second stage burn.
Holding nominal.
Throttling down.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Guidance is nominal, 150 seconds remaining.
There we go, that was battery hot swap for the second stage Rutherford engine. The mission is continuing nominally at more than 16,000 kilometers an hour and now past 204 kilometers in altitude. And up next we will have the final phase of stage 2 flight, including SECO, or second engine cutoff, which is then followed by kick stage separation. And this is where the kick stage, which is carrying Kinéis satellites, separates from Electron's second stage. No, the final engine cutoff on stage 2 is coming up now, just shy of 9 minutes into the mission.
SECO confirmed.
Stage 3 separation confirmed. Nominal transport.
Great news there from Mission Control. The second stage engine has now shut down and the kick stage has separated. And that means Kinéis satellites are on the kick stage for a coast phase around Earth. Now, once it has looped back around, the 3D printed Curie engine on the kick stage will ignite twice to complete some final positioning maneuvers before the 5 satellites are deployed to their 653-kilometer circular orbit. All that remains now is to wait for those final Curie circularization burns, scheduled at around T plus 52 minutes. Over to Jamie and Part G to tell us what we can expect from that phase of the mission.
Thanks, Muriel. And yes, that's right. We're on the home stretch of our 50th launch. Right now, the kick stage is coasting around Earth in an elliptical orbit, gradually making its way to the apogee, or the point in orbit where the kick stage is furthest from Earth. Once it reaches that point, the Curie engine will ignite for 2 separate burns to raise the kick stage's orbit and circularize it to 650 kilometers above the Earth's surface.
Around 1 minute after that final burn, the Kinéis satellites will be deployed in sequence. First will be a single satellite deployed off the top of the kick stage, followed by the remaining 4 satellites deployed in pairs from opposite sides. So while we wait for that, enjoy the relaxing tunes from our good friend Tim Dodd, aka the Everyday Astronaut. We'll see you back here soon.
Welcome back to the launch of No Time to Lose, our 50th Electron launch. Just about 50 minutes ago, Electron lifted off from Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand, carrying 5 satellites for French IoT company Kinéis. Those satellites are now just minutes away from being deployed to their final orbits.
Yes, the kick stage's Curie engine is performing 2 burns today to position the satellites for precise deployment. The first of those has Curie lighting up to place the kick stage and Kinéis payloads on a circular path, what we call circularizing the orbit, and this burn lasts for just under 3 minutes. We're approaching ignition for that shortly.
Curie ignition confirmed.
You heard it right there, a successful Curie ignition. This Curie burn will last about 2.5 minutes, rounding out our orbit from its current 650-kilometer apogee. We only have a few more milestones to go in our 50th launch. Curie shutdown comes next, followed by a second ignition to make a slight adjustment specific to our customer, and then finally 3 separate deployment sequences for the Kinéis payloads. They'll be about 45 seconds apart, starting with the forward boost satellite. This launch has been tailored specifically to meet Kinéis' mission requirements, giving them greater control over the launch schedule, orbit, and deployment parameters than would be possible on a larger rideshare mission.
Those tailored mission parameters for this launch include an instantaneous launch window and the special Curie burns that Prati mentioned before. After this first burn to circularize the kick stage's orbit, Curie will ignite again for 8 seconds to set a specific argument of perigee, enabling Kinéis to deploy 5 satellites to a precise orbit as needed. Without getting into the nitty-gritty of orbital mechanics too much, the argument of perigee determines where on the globe the orbit is highest and where it is lowest. A little bit more complicated than that, but that's why we have an expert team here guiding the mission.
Perfect final orbit.
Kinéis 1 deployment confirmed.
There it is, deployment of Kinéis 1. The first satellite of the Kinéis constellation is now at home. Up next will be Kinéis 2 and 4, followed by Kinéis 3 and 5.
Kinéis 2 and Kinéis 4 deployment confirmed.
Swift maneuver there, and Kinéis 2 and 4 are safely in their home in orbit. We're now awaiting confirmation of the final 2 spacecraft to join their colleagues, starting off the Kinéis IoT constellation.
Kinéis 3 and Kinéis 5 deployments confirmed.
Mission successful, no time to lose, our 50th Electron launch. Welcome to orbit, Kinéis. Today's launch was the first of 5 dedicated launches for the team at Kinéis, so we can't wait to do it again soon. Congratulations to each and every person behind this launch and the 49 Electrons that came before it. Making it to space once is a monumental achievement, so doing it another 50 times is faster than any other commercially developed rocket in history, puts us in rarefied air. Now, last but not least, thank you to all of our mission partners who have flown on Electron. You have helped us to make history and create better access to space for small satellites. We are honoured you chose Electron as your ride to space, and we can't wait to do it again for the next 50 launches and beyond. Now, while we're celebrating 50 launches today, we won't be pausing for long. In fact, we'll be back again soon with the next Electron on the pad. So stay tuned to our social media channels for mission updates on the next mission. But for now, we will wrap up today's broadcast and see you back here soon. Thank you for joining us, and for the 50th time, this is Rocket Lab Mission Control, signing off.